Thanks, viewers. We're also getting you some more breaking updates as far as the Chernobyl nuclear power plant is concerned. The International Atomic Energy Agency has now said that they have lost touch with the Chernobyl monitoring system. The IAEA has said that the remote data transfer from the guarantee monitoring systems installed at Chernobyl nuclear power plant has been lost. And at the moment, the IAEA is not receiving the data from the Chernobyl nuclear power plant as well. Remember, viewers, we have seen how the Zaporizhzhia as well, the nuclear power plant, has been at the epicenter of the controversy of the Ukrainian crisis, where Russia had in fact targeted the nuclear power plants. And Shivani Sharma, my colleague who's joining us from the ground as well, is on the broadcast. Shivani, we have seen how, with respect to the nuclear power plants, the entire controversy had been erupting, and now the IAEA claims that they have lost contact with the monitoring systems of the Chernobyl NPP.
Priyanka, as the day 14th of the Russian aggression continues, there is devastation all around the region, and I'm right now reporting from Lublin, that's close to the Poland-Ukraine border. And you can see what is the weather like. It's been snowing since last 2 days, and the whole region is facing this extreme weather condition. And there have been refugees, millions now, over 1 million refugees who have already crossed the border of Ukraine and come into these states, bordering states, be it Poland. And if I talk about this particular place, we have personally met over 100 refugees who have been wandering on the roads, who have no shelter, who have been looking for hotels, who have been looking for living places in this brutal weather condition. And they have been to the consulates of Ukraine for the updation of their documents. So such is the condition, with small babies in their arms. They are roaming here and there. And if we talk about the devastation that's going inside, and the Chernobyl nuclear plant and the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant that was hit by the Russian forces, and later they had claimed that they were actually not targeting it. Actual target was a military training area around that place. But the reality is this, that while the evacuation was also going on, and while the ceasefire agreement was also on for the temporary basis, there were a number of attacks we could see. We could hear the bombings at that particular time. And that is why there have been disruptions in the evacuation of people from that particular place. The situation is getting worse each day. People are now facing shortages of food items. They don't have water, they don't have proper sanitation in that particular region. So the agreements are also getting failed now. We've seen how the 3 rounds of talks have already taken place between Russia and Ukraine, but they have failed to get any breakthrough on the ground. And there have been statements from NATO. We've seen how Antony Blinken has been visiting nations in his 4-day visit to Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and we've been following with all the updates on that. But the ground situation remains quite grim. There are attacks, there are escalated attacks, there are on-ground fights now what are being witnessed inside Ukraine. And there seems to be no hope, no respite, because nothing is working out at this time. Russia continues its strikes, and the diplomats are failing. No talks are yielding any results. There are now inputs that the connections with the Chernobyl nuclear plant have been lost. So where this is going, in which direction it is going, everybody is facing a lot of trouble around these bordering nations, also European Union nations, which have been accommodating people from Ukraine, are now witnessing a lot of problem in moving across the borders, because borders are choked. Weather is bad. It has been snowing since last 2-3 days, and the weather conditions go beyond -6 degrees in the night. So the accommodation of these problems, the updation of documents of people who are coming from Ukraine is getting tough, even for the European Union nations. And on ground, NATO has refused to get involved. Only they have been talking about supplying arms and ammunition, and that's been the situation.
Well, yes, Shivani, help us understand this, because the IAEA has also said that they have lost contact with the monitoring systems of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Also, now the energy minister has made several statements that there might be a big nuclear offensive that Russia might also be planning. And Ukraine has also asked its ally to not have any military operations near the nuclear power plants as well. What are you picking up from your sources there on the ground, from the neighboring countries of Ukraine, from the allies of Ukraine?
See, Priyanka, there have been claims from the Russian side. There have been counter claims from the Ukrainian side. Initially, also, when we had seen that there was an attack near Zaporizhzhia 3 days back, then Russia had claimed that this was not an attack on the nuclear power plant. In fact, this was an attack near the building which caught fire. And Zelensky had said that this is an attack, a very serious attack on the nuclear power plant. And that brought a lot of concern from not only Ukrainian president, but so many nations around the place and also United States. But in fact, what Russia has been saying that whatever claims are being made, whatever allegations on ground are being made regarding the attack on the nuclear power plants is not true. So remember 4 days back, Russia's foreign minister Sergei Lavrov had also said that we are not insane. We are not attacking the nuclear power plants, and we also want to resolve the matter through dialogue. Our operation will continue until our demands are made. But we see that there have been so many appeals from the side of the Ukrainian president and concerns from the Ukrainian president. He is also playing a war game plus information game. So we need to see that now, is this attack around the nuclear power plant or when the contact has been lost, is this a real threat? Or this is also a part of the propaganda which is going on simultaneously with the war on ground. So information warfare is also playing a big role this time. Ukraine is continuously trying to show that it has retained its ground. It has been attacking and giving befitting reply to Russians. It has been giving out numbers each day of the Russian machinery. It has devastated Russian tanks. It has blasted Russian troops. It has killed. And on the same time, we have claims from Russia that says that we are in control of the situation. We have surrounded Kyiv. It's just that we are waiting for the final assault. The end game has been nearing. So we have to see that what is actual on the ground, what is actually happening on the ground. But one thing is very clear out here, Priyanka, that Russia has failed to stop. Russia is not stopping. Russia is continuing with all attacks on all the important areas, not even leaving the maternity hospitals, not even leaving the schools, not even leaving the civil residential areas now. So more and more devastation after the war has reached the 14th day. And adding on to that is the problem of the refugees who are now finding safe abode in the bordering nations. And NATO has completely failed because it has not done actually anything on the ground, no concrete action except being together, showing statements and solidarity sermons for Ukraine. So now this is a very serious situation when Russia is not going to stop. It is continuing with its aggressive war machine. Ukraine says that it is retaliating, but on ground, people are suffering.
Well, yes, Shivani, of course, we have seen those images coming in from Ukraine as well. But as far as the nuclear power plants are concerned, the IAEA has also passed a resolution, criticizing the entire attack on the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant as well. And they have said that this is not a political move, but they are concerned about the nuclear power plants being attacked by the Russian troops. I want to thank you, Shivani, for joining us on the broadcast, and I implore you to stay safe. Next, viewers, we'll get you some more breaking updates from Ukraine.